learning is more self-driven in children.
Right, right. And that is why our duty, uh, our responsibility is not as a parent or a teacher. We are just a facilitator.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Nice, nice. What about you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
so where are you from, Shailesh?
I'm from Maharashtra, Jalgaon, Maharashtra.
Okay.
And you are from
I'm from Bangalore.
Bangalore. Okay. RCB.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I'm enjoying my work as a teacher and teacher trainer. And
Okay.
I'm student too, because I believe that even though you're a teacher, you're a lifelong learner, as we can learn at the end of our last breath also. So, and I believe that I realize one thing, that nowadays a teacher is more a facilitator rather than teacher.
Of course.
Okay. If you are always ready for to learn the things, it will really helpful. I'm also YouTuber, and uh, as my student and some of the teacher in teacher training, uh, they always with me every time whenever I want to learn something. And I believe that if you want to learn, teach, and if you want to teach, learn.
Yes, I agree with that too. Right.
And what about you? Your
So
experience?
I'm a curriculum designer by profession. So I design curriculum for preschool children,
Great,
specialized in
great.
emotional intelligence. Right. So yeah, I mean, as of now, I'm on a break because in between jobs, and yeah, so I would probably be shifting my career towards something a little more corporate.
Yeah, but working in the field of education is really a great thing. It really help you
Yes, it is
grow as
eye-opening
a
on an
person
everyday
and to grow
basis.
as a teacher, as a student. What do you think
Mm-hmm.
about that?
Sorry?
Yeah, what do you think about that? Because to having in the profession of education, it will
Mm-hmm.
really help you as a person, you as a teacher, as a student to grow yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. It's eye-opening on an everyday basis. And especially since I worked with uh, children in the field of emotional intelligence, I also had a lot to do with parents and teachers who are involved with children, right? So this gives me a lot of perspective about how we look at life and how we influence children,
Yeah,
and in a certain way we are molding the next generation,
yeah.
right?
But
So that lays a lot of emphasis and responsibility on adults as to what we are passing on to the next generation.
yeah, yeah, parenting is very important. It is not
Yes.
just putting the kid in the school and education. I think we are putting the children in school system so early. A 2 or 3 years or 4 year child is there in the school is it's a little brutal. I think most of the time, because
Yeah, honestly,
sometimes
I
you
think
have
it's
to
okay because
give that
children need
responsibility to the parents now. I mean, it's
yes,
parenting is the skill where we need more better parenting, and then education and all these things will happen in the schools. So
it's not just education that children need when they go to schools. They need exposure, they need to build social skills at a
yeah,
young age. So, in one way, it is good that children go to schools, but what is being taught in schools is the problem. So when you gather some children together and allow them to play together or do some craft activities together, then there's a sense of bonding and peer enabled learning that
yeah,
children have, and they look forward to it, they enjoy it. But you
exactly.
put children too young in school and start teaching them academics,
It's
math, science, and phonetics and literacy, whatever. It's going to be too much for the child. It's not going to enjoy,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Education is
So
for to be the best human and the best citizen, not for engineers and
exactly,
doctor all the
exactly,
time.
right, right. So you've
Parents
seen
is forcing too
government,
much.
right? Parenting is to it's a little more personal. In the sense, the parents have to be involved in how they discipline the child. What are the character traits they want to bring in the child,
Exactly,
and
exactly,
how they want to mold the child into an adult. It's
exactly.
more about what they inspire than what they teach. It's more
Yeah,
about what they can observe and imitate from the parents than what they learn word to word from their parents. So that is more of a personal thing, in my opinion. In every parent has a kind of dream for their child, and they have a lot of ways in which they want to bring up their children. But schooling is different. Schooling is ensuring that children are learning something and enjoying the learning process.
yeah.
And how much they grow, how much they learn, is every child's individual takeaway from the process.
Vidya, I tell you, as the way you are explaining this all, and I know that when I'm going to post this on my YouTube also, it really helpful for teachers who's going through your speech. I mean, as the way you're telling to me, and it's not for me actually, it's for the rest of the parents and the student. I mean, it is more for the parents and teachers also. Nicely explained. Great.
Yes, indeed. See, because I don't, there's a saying, it's a very popular saying, that it takes a village to raise a child,
Yeah,
right? So a child can learn something in school, and if it's very opposite to what the child learns at home, there's a clash of uh, information they're taking in and absorbing. It's really hard for a child. Children end up growing confused,
yeah,
right? So their sense of identity and where their place in the society stands is a lot in is it's a lot inspired when it's all in sync, and when the
yeah,
core values are drilled in deep when they are young. And for that, the parents, the society, the school, it all has to be in the same page, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think I'm not really against children being put in school at a young age, but I'm more worried about what is being taught in the schools at a young age. So it is when they are young, they learn to enjoy the learning process.
yeah. It's
It is that they enjoy the growth without even consciously knowing that they're learning and growing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
that process, if that enjoyment is being conditioned in children without conscious effort, just give the child what it enjoys
Okay.
doing, and it's going to learn and grow on its own.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That
it's
is
so
why
children, yeah, so learning is more self-driven in children.
right, right. And that is why our duty, I mean, uh, our responsibility is not as a parent or a teacher. We are just a facilitator. Let's provide
Exactly.
them the things and they will
Right.
learn by doing. Learning by doing, it's a great thing, especially in primary and pre-primary.
Exactly. Right. So I think as parents and as teachers or facilitators, our responsibility, our duty lies not in putting up a chart and saying this is what you should learn. Rather, it lies in setting up an environment where a child has an exposure to a lot of things and it chooses what it learns,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that is what is we some that is something we have to emphasize on. And for that, it's important for the parents and the teachers to be on the same page, because sometimes the teachers are willing to give what the child wants to learn and facilitate, but the parents are sometimes putting pressure, saying, I want my child to be school ready, I want my child to be doing well in academics, or I want my child to be performing on stage in the next 2 years. The child may have just learned to walk.
yeah, yeah. Lot of
Right.
expectations.
Exactly. So are we letting the child be a child and drive its own learning process? So how much control do we have over the process, and how much responsibility we take for how much pressure the child takes?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. So these are very, very conscious decisions and efforts we have to put in for, and it can be very exhausting. So that, I think, I mean, it's not a surprise that parenting is a very difficult task,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so is educating a child, right? And it's very, very important that they're both on the same page most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes realize that brilliance it doesn't exist. It is just a matter of exposure. And there is the family and the school's role comes when
Exactly.
nurturing and all these
Right.
things.
Right.
So
Especially in a world like this, it is so fast evolving with technology and everybody is becoming isolated within themselves. Even if
yeah,
you put a set of 10 people in a room, they're all withdrawn, and they're engaged in their devices and gadgets and social media and doom scrolling through it. But we are not yet really putting emphasis on how important it is to have social contact and how important it is for our sense of well-being, not just mental and emotional, even for our physical health. It's important that we have a sense of community, right? so
yeah,
so what I would say against the point that we're putting children too young in school is that it's also important for children to learn at a very young age to socialize,
yeah, yeah,
right? So children are obviously very comfortable with their parents and their grandparents at the immediate environment, but when they learn to socialize, they learn to show kindness, receive kindness, and form friendships and find common activities with common interest.
yeah,
So they learn to build their friend circle, a social circle. They
yeah.
know who are my friends. They have a sense of me, my circle, my
Peer
community,
learning,
my
you can say the
identity.
peer learning.
Yes,
Indirectly.
right.
Learning
So
indirectly, not directly.
exactly. So they have a much more sense of grounding as to who they are, and they're not too isolated within their own world. And that, I would say, is a very, very important role that a school plays in the mental health of a child, right?
Yeah,
And that has a very, very longitudinal impact for the rest of their lives, right?
yeah,
So I would say, it is good that children are put in schools, but it is important that the schools and the parents are on the same page as to why the child is going to school.
yeah. The why is very important.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
And this is really a nice message to the parents also and to the viewers also. It's a Diwali gift or Diwali kind of things we are having. And that is why it is very important for us to discuss and talk with the parents and with the experts, I can say, like you, Vidya. And it's really helpful because now it's need us so badly. We are having a lot of schools, thousands of schools is there, but what you are going to taught there, which you earlier mentioned rightly and explaining excellently.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this session, and
Yeah,
thank you
and
for
happy Deepavali
highlighting
to
how
you and your
important.
family, Vidya. Happy
Sorry.
Deepavali to you and your family.
Oh, thank you so much, and wish you the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's nice.
I'm
It's nice
very
to
glad
talk
I
with
had
you.
this session with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really a lot of things where I learn from you, and the words, the sentences, it will really helpful for me throughout my career, I guess.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are there.
And it
Take
was
care.
also a very, valuable session for me to be talking about what I passionately do. So thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, yeah. You have to reach maximum parents and teachers. This is the need of the time,
I
and I
wish
hope
to.
that God will bless as the way you are working. And thanks to the platform clapping also.
Thank you so much. It's really
Yeah,
kind of you to say that. Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Okay. Take care. See you
Thank
again
you.
in the next session. Yeah.
You too. Have a nice rest of the day ahead. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.